We'll be live on the air momentarily. These folks are actually going to be joining us right here on Google Hangout, plus freeconferencecall.com. This is Pastor Said, the entrepreneurial pastor, and I'll be having a chance to talk to you about innovative mentorship tonight. It'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to this. Been looking forward to this. If you're talking to me, I can't actually hear you because I've got you on mute, so don't worry about it. Trying to get a clean sound for the evening. Less than 2 minutes to get started. Probably a little bit over a minute, actually. Shouldn't take very long, by the way. We're not going to hold you all night long, but we will get you some information that's going to help you understand a little bit more about how I think in reference to innovative leadership. Well, it's 6 o'clock straight up, according to both my clocks here. So God bless you and thank you for joining us tonight. This is Pastor Said, the entrepreneurial pastor, known as a cutting edge innovator. I've got a new title that you got going out there because I'm pretty innovative, doing some different kind of things online, even offline, by the way, too. Been doing that for a long time. And this evening, you're going to see a PowerPoint presentation that I'll be putting together, actually put together already for you. That's going to talk to you about cutting edge mentorship. And that's going to be a little bit different title for you than we've talked about before. I'll be sharing a screen share with you, so just hold tight with me just for a moment. You'll be able to see that if you're online with me right now. And those of you that are not online rather, you can just hear what we're talking about, and you have a chance to identify with the information that we'll be sharing with you this evening. It'll be pretty simple stuff. Innovative leadership with Pastor Said, the power of innovative mentorship. Now, most of us have probably never heard that terminology before, but what I'd like to do is go over some definitions of different words that probably pertain close to leadership at least. And the first one we talk about is what a coach is. We talk about coaches, we talk about sponsors, and we talk about mentors. And often the word coach and mentor kind of seem to be synonymous, but they're a little bit different. I want to tell you a little bit about that. A private teacher who gives someone lessons in a particular subject, that's a coach, such as a basketball coach or a baseball coach. I know a little bit about basketball. So Michael Jordan had a coach. Someone gave him private instruction, gave him some lessons in a particular subject, which was basketball. So a coach would be the one that spends that kind of time with you to give you private instruction. Now, sometimes a coach is in a group session as well. They give private instruction to individuals on a team, and that team sometimes functions as a result of the instructions, their lessons that they learn in that particular subject matter, and they go forward from there. So you'll see the difference between a coach and a mentor. It's going to be a little bit different as we get to the definition of mentor. But I'll go with another one, which is called sponsor. A sponsor is something we don't hear much about these days, but one who assumes responsibility for another person and vouches for their potential performance. Now, often I've been sponsored into situations myself. There have been times when no one really knew me that super well, and in my denomination, I have a serve in. I was a pastor, and I was looking to be I wasn't looking to be. Something happened, but somebody spotted me and decided they wanted to invest in me and make me a leader in our denomination. So I was sponsored by one of the leaders in our denomination. So they assumed responsibility for me, and they also vouched for my potential based on my performance. Now, they saw my performance at one point, and they also vouched for my future performance, so they sponsored me. So you often find people that get sponsored, and the truth be told, a lot of times what happens even in situations that I'm involved with, even in the Santa community, I will actually sponsor people, not knowing everything about them, but I have observed a little bit of their behavior. And so I'm not really coaching them at that point because I don't know much about them, but I will sponsor them. I'll assume responsibility for their person, for their behavior, and I'll vouch for their potential because I have an idea that their performance is going to be pretty similar to what their past performance has been. And so that's what sponsor counselor, a trusted counselor or guide, usually with less experience. I'm usually dealing with a less experienced person, a younger mentees. Now, here the key word is trusted counselor or guide. That's the difference between a mentor and a coach. A coach could be a person that certainly they can be trusted and an advisor, but giving instruction, giving lessons, and have everything. But that trusted person, that one that you know personally, that one you have a chance to get to connect with, that one that really has a heart for you as an individual, that individual is somebody that you will put your trust in and help to guide you, and you will lend yourself to that individual because you have less experience, and because of your less experience, you're yielding yourself to their experience. And that's a person called a mentor. And then, of course, the person that's younger or less experienced is a mentee. And that's the individual that's really putting their trust in an individual to lead them in reference to the way they're going to function in their business or life. And so you've got coach, sponsor, and mentor. And so if you find yourself and sometimes you cross over in these categories, by the way, I find myself functioning as a coach sometimes, often as a sponsor, because there's so many so many blessed people, so many skilled people that I help. Well, part of what I do is I identify. People call me mentor all the time, but I'm really more of a sponsor than anything else. I identify people all the time, and I help them understand that they have a skill set, and then I basically vouch for them or take responsibility for who they are, and I vouch for their potential based on what I've already seen. Now, I do move into the role of a mentor because I become trusted then. Because again, after a certain time period, you become trusted with somebody. They begin to lean on you. They begin to trust you to the degree that they will allow you to speak into their life. And when you get that kind of thing to begin to happen with somebody that's got less experience, they will recognize it. That's how you determine because you can meet somebody one-on-one for the first time and determine that you've got some skill sets and they've got some skill sets. Well, one of you will probably be the mentor, one will be the mentee. Now, who's going to be the mentor? Who's going to be the mentee? Well, the one that has the greater knowledge, of course, the one that has a greater skill set, but also the one that's going to be leaned on to be trusted more readily. That's going to be the mentor. And so that's the individual that's going to be the one that takes a lead in a situation. And the mentor doesn't have to really press themselves to make themselves a mentor. A mentor doesn't put themselves in a position and says, well, hey, I have a little sign on says I'm a mentor. And we don't do that. We don't have to, because again, the trust is earned over a period of time. So hope you understand what those areas are. I'll go over that one more time with you. Again, coach is a private teacher who gives someone lessons in a particular subject. And then we got a sponsor, is one who assumes responsibility for another person and vouches for their potential performance. Whereas a mentor, number 3 there, is a trusted counselor or guide, usually with less experience or the younger mentees. That's who I typically work with sometimes as well. So there you go. But we go to think about innovative mentorship. Think innovative, because here's where the difference comes in mentorship, period. In reference to innovative mentorship, is always thinking innovative. If you know anything about me, I'm always thinking innovative. I'm thinking about what's the next way to change something, what's the next way to do something different. Some of you are not aware, but we have a blog that's a part of the Santa community, and we've got a new innovative way. It's going to be really being changed quite a bit. And most people nobody knows about what's going to happen just yet, but a few people. But we have a new innovative way we're going to put that blog to work. And that's going to be kind of funny. So I'm always thinking innovative, thinking of ways that I can just kind of push the bar a little bit, push the envelope a little bit without going too far overboard, because people still have to be able to recognize what you're doing. Because being innovative in reference to mentorship, if you get too far out there, it scares the mentee. And if you scare the mentee, you can't get any performance out of the mentee. And so the mentees are looking to see themselves do well in life. And if you're a mentor that's frightening the mentors, the mentees rather, you put them in a position where they're saying, well, gee, I probably need a coach instead of a mentor. I probably need a sponsor instead of a mentor. And if you're going to be the trusted person, the trusted guide, you're going to think innovative, but also think in terms of how do I get this mentor or this mentee to begin to move? And then as a mentee, you're thinking in terms of, okay, my mentor is thinking innovative. How do I tap into their thinking so that I can begin to understand what they're talking about? And so let's go over a few different things here tonight. One area is that know your mentee. As a mentor, I'm talking from a mentor perspective tonight. Know your mentee. And that simply means that I have to know the people that I'm working with. If I don't know who they are, it makes it complicated. I mean, I get a chance to get in their face and talk to them. I ask them questions. I get involved with their life. I begin to just, really spend time with them. And again, observation. One of the things I talked about in one of the other trainings that I did was talking about religious observation. And to know somebody is to spend time with them or observe them from afar. Again, to know somebody is to spend time with them or to observe them from afar. And so often we're in online situations, we're observing people from afar because we don't really know them that well. So we recognize patterns of behavior. That's how we get to know people. We recognize patterns of behavior. And in reference to those that I get a chance to connect with personally and work with and talk with, then there's conversation. And so spending time in conversation and letting them talk, by the way, is a big, big part about it. You're going to see me repeat some of the same things here, but knowing your mentee is kind of the key to the whole deal to get started the process off. You're thinking innovative, and you can get all excited about being innovative, but if you don't know the mentee, that's not going to really work out or well at all. Next, we're going to go right into the area, question your mentee. Now, this means simply this. Now, from the very beginning stages of getting to know your mentee, you're asking questions, of course, just to get to know the mentee. That's one part of the getting to know somebody, and that's relationships or anything else. You ask questions all the time. But if you're questioning your mentee, I mean all the time, questioning your mentee. I'm asking questions all the time. So why did you do that? So what made you think about what made you think that was going to work so effectively? And these could be questions that I know the answer to, but I want to see them think. I want to see the mentee begin to think for themselves. And they're sometimes get a little bit scared because they realize, was this a trick question or something? No, it's not a trick question. I want to make sure that you're confident in what your decision you've just made. So the question I'll ask will be, so is there something specific about this way you did this time than you did last time? Is there something different? Did you do something different this time than you did last time? Did you recognize the difference this time? And those are questions I'm always asking. I'm asking those kinds of questions so that the mentee that I'm working with begins to think for themselves. So as a mentor, I'm asking questions. As a mentor, I'm getting to know that mentee because I've asked questions initially, in the initial stages, of course. But then as I continue on the relationship, there's a mentor-mentee relationship. There's going to be always questions. And now, if you've got a mentee that's not as strong, not as confident, they'll feel a little bit intimidated by that, and may not be able to continue in the process because, mentors are sometimes feared, or sometimes people feel as though they are a little tough sometimes, but it doesn't have to be that way. The questions that are being asked are really intelligent questions that are going to be asked of them at some point again themselves. And here's why the questions are even asked, so that the mentee themselves will begin to ask themselves the same questions. Did you hear me? The mentee themselves will begin to ask themselves the same questions. You ever heard somebody's, I have some of the mentees that I have now, they hear my voice in their head. Oh, Pastor said, what would Pastor said do? What would Pastor said say? I hear Pastor said say, is that a good answer? Would you do this again? Is that something that would benefit the kingdom of God? Is that something that people will look to and say, yes, I agree with that? Will that be something that people will be excited about? Would my parents be happy about that? Those kind of questions that I begin to ask people, right? So my mentees are telling me, I hear your voice before I make decisions. Okay. Well, I've done my job. I've asked enough questions for them to ask the same questions themselves. So again, I get to know the mentee, and then I question the mentee as well. I question mentees all the time. And I don't let them know this up front, by the way. I do this. I just do it. And it becomes you're getting the nuts and bolts of me, how I break it down, the mechanics of it. But this is just kind of a natural flow for me. And it just happens where I get to know people, period. That's how I work with. That's how I operate. I get to know people by asking them questions initially. And then, of course, I'm steady asking questions. I never stop. And if you have a chance to know who I am, or you see me making Santa clues or making my inspirational points that I make online sometime, typically they kind of framed around a question or something to make you think. That's my whole effort, is really getting people to think on their own. So that's number 2, is know your mentee. And then number 3, we listen to your mentee. This is fun because they're often scared to talk. They don't want to say the wrong thing. They want to, well, what do you think? No, it's not about what I think, it's what you think. So after I've asked questions, of course, they have to talk now, right? And so they're sometimes a little hesitant about talking because they don't want to say the wrong thing. They want to make sure that they say the right thing. I found that some of the mentees I work with are perfectionists, people that want to get things right all the time, want to get things going in a good direction all the time. They want to see things that are working effectively in their life. And then there comes this person that they look up to that could question their authority, could question their judgment, could question anything that they say, and they have to kind of go with the flow because they trust me, right? They trust me as a counselor and a guide. And so because of that trust factor, I make it easy for them. I try to make it easy for them to talk. Now, that's not always, doesn't always happen that way, but I think that most of the time I make it pretty easy for people to talk to me. So I'm listening to my mentee as well, listening to your mentee. If you have a mentee, listen to your mentee. They have some valuable things to say. I learned from my mentees. Did you hear me? I learned from my mentees because after all, they've been questioning themselves, right? They've been asking themselves questions, and chances are they're going to begin to ask themselves questions that I don't ask. That's even better because they begin to ask questions that are way beyond my thinking, my scope or influence. They begin to ask questions of themselves, and they begin to get answers. So now they have an answer to give to me as I'm listening. They have more information to give to me as I'm listening to them. And so as I'm listening to them, I'm picking up new information, and then I'm able to ask questions based on what they know. Then that's really exciting because when I begin to ask questions about based on what they know, they think they know it initially. And then I ask questions about it, and they give me the same answer again. They kind of know, but then we dialogue a little bit more, and then they find out that they really do know. That makes a major difference because they know they've been heard. They know that somebody listened to them. They know that they processed the information effectively enough for somebody to hear it because they asked the question of themselves, and then they begin to speak out to me as I begin to listen to them as a result of our conversation, and then me asking questions on top of their answer, get them to get right back to that same answer again. So it's kind of like this cat and mouse game. And I know what I'm doing, by the way. They know that I know what I'm doing. So they know that I'm going to ask them questions based on whatever they say. They know the questions are going to be coming. And it may not come right away. And sometimes as they don't come right away, they're thinking of other questions that I might want to ask. And so I'm playing this little cat and mouse game with them. And they know that I'm playing the cat and mouse game with them. But the idea, again, is that to get them to think. So I know who my mentees are. I know them really well. I question them all the time, and then I listen to them. And that's something, again, whereas a coach sometimes, a coach or a sponsors and coaches typically don't listen necessarily. Coach says, this is what you're going to do today. We're going to run this play. This is how we're going to do it. This is how it's going to get done. This is the way it's always been done. This is the way it's always going to be done. You just listen to me and get it done this way, and you'll get it done right. That's coach. Coach has the answer. Coach brings the lesson plan. Coach brings the structure. Coach brings everything that's going to be there. And the coach says, well, that's how it goes. Now, some coaches a little bit more lean towards mentors themselves as well. But typical coaching is this is how we do it. This is how it's going to get done. Do it. Okay. And so they don't need to know the mentors, mentees that well. They're the people that they're involved with. They just say, if you can play, I'll see it in the moment here or not. And then, of course, questioning, asking questions or getting questions answered. That's not going to be happening too much as well, because I remember my coach didn't want to hear from me. Right? My basketball coach, Reynolds, shut up. Okay, get in line. Get layup. Okay. So I never got that experience. I guess I'm venting right now. Listen, and then we listened to the mentee. The last thing my coach ever did was listen to me because he didn't think I had anything good to say, but I felt that I did, and that's why I'm a mentor today, I guess, and kind of rebelled against him. But the number 4 would be, this is real simple: empower your mentee. Now, that's something we're really familiar with in the Santa community, is empowering our mentees and empowering people, period. But if you empower your mentee, when you empower him, not just say it, but when you empower your mentee, what that does, it gives them a degree of confidence that they didn't have before. Again, you walk through this. See, we walk through this process, and I go back through this once, and I go back through this with you because my conversations, I was talking to one of the mentees today with me, and I was just indicating that I just do this. I do the same thing over and over and over again. I have the same conversation, just different ways. I know who you are. I'm asking you questions. What do you think about this? And why would you do this? And do you think that's a great idea? Why do you think that's a great idea? And when you did the last time, did it work as effectively as it did this time? Can you imagine in the future what it would look like if you do this way? And I'm asking these kind of questions, and now I'm listening to at the same time to the answers. So I'm doing the same thing over and over again. And now I'm empowering that person. That is, after I've listened to them, I empower them with their own words. Now, here's one of the major keys. I want you to write this down if you can. One of the major keys is that after I've listened to them, I really empower them with their own words. See, they already come empowered. They don't even know that they do, but I empower them with their own words, because the things that they're coming out of their conversation with, that lets me know that they have taken the time to study a situation, to study a circumstance, to study a problem, and even study the solution as well. And they come out with it, and then I'm able to ask questions of them and then empower them with the words that they've given me. They don't even know that sometimes, but now you know. If you're watching me sometime, you go like, that's what he did. That's why it sounded so familiar to me. That's what he did. There's that innovative thinking, right? So I see exactly what he did. I feel so manipulated. I feel so used. I feel so bad. Now, you don't have to feel bad about it. And by the way, there's manipulation, there's positive manipulation, and there's negative manipulation. Manipulation for the good is for your benefit, like discipleship. I'm going to disciple you to do something effectively. If I manipulate for the bad, it's going to put you in a situation where you're going to do it for my personal benefit, my gain. I gain, you don't gain. That's manipulation in a bad way. Manipulation in a good way. Manipulation in a good way is not a bad thing because the motivation is right. And when the motivation is right, it's for the betterment of the individual and everybody involved with that individual. That's good manipulation. I manipulate people, manipulate conversations. I'm manipulating the conversation tonight because I know what I'm talking about. And so I've actually worked it in such a way that you'll be able to receive it, and you'll receive it as good information. It's going to benefit you and benefit those that are around you as well. Can you see that? Okay, that's what I'm empowering you with tonight. So you empower your mentee so that they'll understand exactly where you're headed, how you're going to get to it. They won't necessarily be relying upon you as their mentor anymore. They'll be relying upon themselves because they've been empowered. And they've been empowered by their own words because they've taken the time to think after you've listened to them. You see how the process goes? You see the flow of how that happens? Well, this happens intuitively with me now. I mean, really intuitively, this happens to me because I'm really innovative in my thinking all the time. And I'm knowing the mentor. I'm questioning people all the time. I'm always listening to as well. And these are just simple things. And then because I'm working with individuals and not just groups all the time, I'm working with individuals. Mine is to find out how to empower that individual with the words that come out of their very mouths. Because once it comes out of your mouth, you hear, it's like when you say something out of your mouth, it means a whole lot more than when I say it. If you say it out of your mouth, by his stripes I'm healed. You say it out of your mouth, whoa, glory to God. By his stripes I'm healed. You say that a few more times and a whole bunch more times. It's gonna mean a whole lot more to you than it means to me, because you said it out of your mouth. You become empowered with that word. That's the word of God, right? You become empowered with that word, and that word becomes alive to you, and you begin to say it again and say it again and say it again and say it again. You've now become empowered. So then I just give it right back to you the way you said it, and boom, you got it. You're moving forward in empowerment. So my job again is to empower my mentees. And then the next one, of course, is pretty much the same as we do with our mission of SANA. We empower and support. And the second component of that, support your mentee. Now, again, this is where a breakdown could happen with the mentor-mentee relationship, is support. This is where the mentor really has to go to work now. Because again, you know the mentor, you're questioning the person, you're listening to the person, you're empowering the person. That's great. Those are fantastic things. But when the mentee is out working, out doing the thing, out doing the deal, out making it happen, and they come back and they fail. Do you hear me now? When they come back and they don't do as well as they thought they were going to do, they've been empowered, man. They've been listened to. They've been questioned. They thought they had it all together, and they went out and it didn't happen like they thought it was going to happen. There's got to be some support, and that's where the mentor comes in. That trusted person. This is where the trust is gained, by the way. The trust and the guidance that mentor provides, it really becomes alive at that point, because I, as a mentor, now I'm looking at, I'm not going to say you're a child, but I'm looking at that my mentee is a person that I'm really cared for, I'm concerned about, and I'm really demonstrating a care and concern for them, that I'm not going to leave them hanging. And that's how I continue to maintain trust with them. Some people need more time. Some people don't need as much time. Sometimes I work with guys, and the guys are like, I'm strong, I can handle it, no big deal. And they do really well by themselves. For a long time, they do well by themselves. And sometimes what will happen, I'll get one of our guys, and they'll come to me a little later than a lady will, a little later down the road. They'll go like, yep, I kind of did the deal, and I've been trying to swim upstream for the last 2 months, man. Okay. And I didn't know what to do, but I know I can come to you, so lay it on me. What do I need to do now? Okay, do we go back to the process of asking questions? Go back to the process of listening. Go back to the process of empowerment. See, that same process happens over and over again. And then, of course, I'm demonstrating support at that point. And again, the people that I do work with on a consistent basis, they receive that support as much as they need it, as much as they need it. And then sometimes they'll come to me and let me know that I know you're supportive of me. I know that I got your support in the situation. They may just ask me one simple question, and we get right down to brass tacks and get on down the road. And so we're doing good there. So we got about another 8 minutes to go here, guys, and I'll be finishing up real soon with you here. But I want to give that to you. That support area is where the trust, that's where that's gained. That's where the guidance is gained, because you are now putting the area of bringing that support to the table. that's really, really, really important as a mentor. Again, this is thinking innovatively, and you're saying to yourself, I've got a process of mentorship. I've got a process of mentorship. And Pastor Seth is going to help me in my innovative thinking. He's going to help me in my innovative questioning of myself. And he's going to help me to be able to, he's going to listen to me, and I'm going to be able to be empowered in an innovative way and supported in my innovation at the same time. So that's the difference between what I'm doing and personally in my innovative mentorship, as opposed to just a guy that's just doing mentorship, period. Just saying, well, just get over there, do that, and I'll support you, and I'll be your guide. And I'm trying to get the best out of people in the innovative capacity, and that's what makes me a little bit different. So that's just my little 2 cents there, if you will. And then lastly is the accountability of your mentee. Accountability of your mentee. That mentee has to be accountable, meaning that I would like to hear from them. I would like to talk with them. I would like to make certain that they are still on track. And I don't chase mentees, by the way. I don't chase them. I have them call me. Talk to me, and I'll call them and talk to them, of course, as well. But I really want them to be accountable to the degree that they'll receive from me. If I have to rebuke or correct or bring instruction of some sort, they'll be receptive to that. And that has happened, by the way. Some of my top students or people that I connect with, they have been rebuked and corrected and brought instruction. And of course, they're always accountable to me as well. And there's some that just kind of don't want to be accountable anymore, and they decide to go another direction. I don't beat them up. I keep the door always wide open. If people want to come back and receive mentorship, that's fine. We can work that out somehow. But they've got to understand that I'm going to still ask them questions. That they've got to know that I'm going to still listen to them as well. I'm going to empower them and support them. But accountability is going to be an absolute must. If I looked at the two important ones here, actually the last three are the meat and potatoes. The empowerment, support, and accountability. That's the meat and potatoes of innovative mentorship. Is really making certain that as we are empowering folks and in supporting them, that they remain accountable. Because if they're not accountable, then it just kind of messes the whole deal up. Especially with an innovative idea. They've got an innovative idea, and they're not being accountable with that innovative idea. They can really, really mess up some people's lives. They can really mess up their own life as well. Because if you're out trying things that are brand spanking new and you're guaranteeing that they're going to work and making, and you say, this is the best thing since sliced bread, and you're going to see, you'll see. That kind of attitude is not an accountable attitude. See, our attitude is a little bit different. Although I'm innovative, I try to remain as humble as I can. I can't say that too loud because I don't want to toot my horn for trying to be humble. But the idea is that I try to maintain a degree of humility so that I don't push myself on people. I really don't want to push myself on people. And so even as a mentor, I have to remain accountable to those that I mentee, the mentees that I'm mentoring. And so those folks that I'm mentoring, I have to really remain accountable to them myself. If I say that I'm going to be at a certain place at a certain time and I don't make it, I've got to let them know why I didn't make it. If I'm going to be at a certain place to meet them somewhere, I need to make sure that I make that situation happen. If I say I'm going to do something, I need to make sure that I do that. And if I don't, I need to have not an excuse. I need to have a reason for why I didn't get it done. And again, what will happen oftentimes, this is kind of a side nugget for you guys, is mentors and mentees sometimes have schedules that are so crazy, especially those that are innovative. We have schedules that are over the top, and learning how to manage, not your schedule, but to manage yourself. Hear that out loud, please. Hear that out loud. It's not a matter of managing your schedule. It's a matter of managing yourself. As we begin to manage ourselves more effectively, our schedule will begin to fit our lives. Did you hear me? I said it out loud because I had to learn to manage myself before I learned how to manage my schedule. Because myself, Cedric, had to be this guy that was in charge of Cedric so that Cedric would not put on more stuff on his schedule than Cedric could handle. So I had to manage myself to the degree that this is all free. This is not extra information here, okay? Managing myself to the degree that I knew that I could only do a certain amount of things in the course of a day. Giving my energy at certain times of the day was really important to me. Learning how to take a nap in the middle part of the day if necessary. Learning different things about me that made me most effective all the time. So that's how I learned how to manage myself so that I don't overwhelm myself too much. And people say, well, gee, you get a lot done. You get a whole lot done. Well, you get a lot done because I only put on my plate what I can get done. It's like only putting on your plate what you can eat and what you will eat. You know the difference, right? I've often had things like that when I was a kid. I put all this food on my plate. Go, oh my goodness, this is wonderful. I'm going to eat all this up. I'm really going to just chow down. Get to the third or fifth, 15th, 20th bite. I'm done. Got a whole lot of stuff left, and you can't have leftovers. You got to leave. You got to leave it on the table. Same thing happens in the area of our mentorship or in business that we're involved in, or life that we're involved in. Learn how to manage yourself. Be accountable to God, to yourself, and also to others. So guys, let me review this one more time with you. We're just about done at 6:28 right now. I'm really good on these schedule times because I'm managing me. Okay. Think innovative. It says, know your mentee. Question your mentee. Listen to your mentee. Empower your mentee. That's where the rubber meets the road right there. Support your mentee. And lastly, be accountable. The accountability of your mentee is important. That means they're accountable to you, but you need to be accountable to them as well. So that's it for right now, guys. This is our time of getting together with the Innovative Leadership with Pastor Said. The power of innovative mentorship was the subject matter tonight. And we just take about 30 minutes or so to get this done. And we're right at 6:29. So bless you. Until next time, we'll be back with you next Wednesday. Be live right here on Google Hangout. Bless you guys. Have a great night now.